Hello, my lovelies. This is Moonbear posting for Fibrobear Cares. It's been a tough day. I've had some medical appointments, and sometimes when you're going through a tough day, it can make you ponder things in some deep fashions. You think about people being hurt and you feel sorrow. You think about people being inspired and you feel some hope and joy. And as I was recovering from my exhausting day of today and yesterday, I was listening to an audiobook. Sometimes other activities takes just too many spoons, and I just have to calm down and listen to a book or just stare at the wall. So I was lying there listening with my eye patch on, and my inner world started pondering sorrow and joy. But to talk about joy and sorrow, I have to start by talking about bargaining. Bargaining for me has always been one of my favorite stages of Kubler-Ross, so stages of grief. It's not always the most healthy, but it's the one that I seem to revert to when I cannot see another way to cope. For example, I bargain with my body frequently. I have a wafer biscuit and I say to my body and my mind, you want to eat it, don't you? My battery wants a night of sleep, so I will eat it in exchange for you both behaving and letting me recharge. This, of course, does not work, as my traitorous body decides that it would rather hurt and enjoy the chocolate caramel wafer biscuit. My lack of impulse control and neurodivergent brain will then add the cup of coffee I should not have, just to add to my later sorrow. Giving up coffee has been incredibly hard. My brain enjoys coffee as it helps me slow down and sleep. This is one of the idiosyncrasies of having a neurodivergent brain, of course. And I used to love it because I could wake up with hot chocolate and go to bed with coffee. But as I'm being tested for some ailments that are worsened by caffeine, this coffee addict has had to go cold turkey. Epic sad face, I hope you can see. But that is the little joys and sorrows of being alive. That has been my starting point in the musings, but it's not where I went and where I now want to go in this video. In our lives, we search for deep joy, a joy we hope will last. But in contrast, we try desperately to avoid the sorrows with everything in us. And I think this is where we go wrong. Our joy and our sorrow are often inextricably linked. The same things and people who bring us joy are often the source of our deepest sorrows. If you do not accept the sorrow, you will not keep the joy at your center. My first deep experience with sorrow and grief happened early in my life, and it changed everything for me. And I would like to share one little aspect of that experience. About 38 years ago, my eldest brother died in an accident. He was 21, I was 13. The unfortunate aspect of it was that the accident made national news for a few days. And then South Africa moved on. But there was a moment that I can still close my eyes and see the TV screen of the news bulletin when the names of those who had died was released. At the top of the screen was the beautiful Storms River Bridge over the gorge where they had died. And for our family, life stopped. For 14 days, it just stopped. And during this 14 days, I stumbled across the book that would change my life in many ways. It was in Papa's study, and I it has helped me many times when I got stuck in the cycle of grief and sorrow. Many of you will know the book, but if you haven't come across it before, I highly recommend getting a copy. The book was The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. I would like you to imagine for a moment a young girl of 13 struggling to sleep because of her first experience of really big emotions. She's tiptoeing to the refuge that is her father's study and studio. She's very careful with her torch as she makes her way past an easel with a painting that he will now never finish. He'll finish other paintings, but not that one. And to the bookshelves for something she can read and lose herself in. She carefully scans the high shelves, and the torch catches a glimpse of glitter and a bright red slash on the shelf. She carefully, like a monkey, clambers up and gets the book down. And in some ways, that's the last act of the tomboy I was. But like I said, the copy that I came across was a thin, bright vermilion book with gold patterns on the front. It was absolutely beautiful, a piece of art on its own. Inside there were these mesmerizing images of ethereal beauty, men and women, angels and nature, all shades of grey and stark. And I had to try and understand what I was looking at. Then, of course, I started to read, and the words was a joy. From the index, I turned to the pages on joy and sorrow, and there was one line that summed up the whole piece for me, and in a way helped me experience those 2 weeks in which the world stopped. The line was, "The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain." This one sentence has influenced me all my life, and not maybe in the way you would think. It has made me welcome sorrow and I allow myself to experience it fully and deeply. I invite it in to change me and to deepen my experience, because I know from experience that it makes joy so much more meaningful. I invite things and people into my life that I know full well could end up hurting me. Because in that first discovery of the person, there's such joy. Joy is easy to like, but without sorrow, how shallow would we be? And as Gibran points out in this chapter, which I advise you to read in its fullness, we often find joy and sorrow comes from the same well. I know someone will think about the unfairness of suffering, and that is a topic for another day, because although suffering and sorrow are linked, it is not the same thing. So the thought for today is, let yourself be shaped without bitterness by both your joy and your sorrow. And in the sorrow, you'll find the blossom of joy in unexpected places. Like always, I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember always that you are precious. And if you enjoy my musings, please like the video. Bye, my lovelies. Blessings to you all.